That's just coming in, and we're going straight to that story. Nawab Malik has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Remember, Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik was being questioned by the ED in connection with his links to fugitive Dawood Ibrahim. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar called this political vendetta. The big story at this hour. Nawab Malik has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate that was questioning him for some time. In fact, together he is in fact a sitting minister in the Maharashtra government. He now has been arrested by the ED. In fact, he is the Minister of Minority Development of Maharashtra. Divyesh is getting us more details on this big story at this hour. Divyesh, was this really expected? His role, his links with Dawood Ibrahim has been under the scanner. He's appeared before the ED in the past as well, but right now he's been arrested. What more can you tell us? Apologize for that poor line. We'll just go back to Devesh in a bit from now. But what we know is that Maharashtra Minister Nawab Malik has been arrested by the ED. This in connection with his links to Mumbai underworld and also his links to fugitive gangster Dawood Ibrahim. He was in fact summoned by the ED in connection with the money laundering case linked to the Mumbai underworld, is what we know. He was being questioned and now he has been arrested. That's the big story that we are breaking at this hour. And NCP Chief Sharad Pawar already has said this is nothing but political vendetta. Nawab Malik was in fact taken to the ED office this morning for questioning, and he now has been arrested. The questioning, in fact, was going on since morning. He was summoned by the ED in connection with the money laundering case linked to the activities of the Mumbai underworld and also gangster Dawood Ibrahim and his aides, is what we know. The agency ED was recording his statement and now he has been taken under arrest. In fact, the office of Nawab Malik had confirmed the developments via their Twitter handle earlier today, talking about how the ED had come to Nawab Malik's residence and they accompanied Nawab Malik in his vehicle to the ED office where the questioning began. And today, he has been arrested. The questioning was going on since 8:30 today morning. Earlier today also, we saw some protests that broke out right outside the ED office where NCP workers have protested, with the NCP chief calling this political vendetta. In fact, the NCP has said that this is misuse of agencies by the ED, and now Nawab Malik has been arrested. It remains to be seen how this is going to play out essentially, but these visuals in fact are coming in right now. And Nawab Malik, minister in the Maharashtra cabinet, sitting minister, has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. NCP Chief Sharad Pawar has already said that those who speak against the centre, against the BJP-run centre, and are targeted by probe agencies, and Nawab Malik's case is the same as what Sharad Pawar has said. Nawab Malik's role was under the scanner and his alleged links with Dawood Ibrahim and underworld, Mumbai underworld essentially. These visuals on your screens right now are of Nawab Malik. Exclusive, in fact, pictures on your screens right now. Mustafa is getting us more details on that. He just has been taken away by the ED. We got those visuals first for our viewers here. As you can see, Nawab Malik on your screens right now. Mustafa, clearly the news around Nawab Malik is tightening with the ED questioning him today morning and now arresting him.
Yes, of course, it seems so. You can just see outside the ED office what we are showing the visuals. The NCP office workers were gathered outside the office since morning. Now they have moved ahead. They are trying to go towards ED office. The tensions are running high, sentiments are running high. There is huge police presence here. You can see at this side how the workers are trying to make their way inside the ED office. So there are a huge number of NCP workers who have gathered around here. The NCP flag we can see is being waved. It was this morning when the NCP ED officials went to his house and he was picked up, and now what we are hearing about reports that he has been arrested. So you can see that sentiments are clearly running high, and they are saying that this entire case was made, an arrest has been done as a political revenge of what Nawab Malik did during the Aryan Khan case and making allegations on Sameer Wankhede. So that seems to be clear motive. That's what the NCP workers here are claiming, and hence you can see everywhere, if you see that clearly crowd is gathering. Law and order situation here, it seems to be very critical, as what we see is quarrel which is going on, arguments going on between the police and NCP workers. We are going towards that. As you can see, the tensions here are running high with NCP workers trying to make their way, the police trying to convince them that they should not go towards ED office. You can see angry NCP workers here arguing with the senior police inspector here, and the tensions are really running high. Interestingly, the Home Ministry, which is held by Dilip Valse Patil in Maharashtra, who is an NCP leader. So clearly here, the Mumbai police is trying its best to control the situation, but it seems that they are under pressure from these NCP workers who are trying to push their way inside the ED office. Mr. of Zone 1, Hari Balaji, is still standing right here, and the police is trying to control this situation, but the NCP workers, you can say, are trying to push their way towards the ED office and enter the ED office. They were here since morning, and now they are arguing with the police to let them go inside the ED office. So you can say the law and order situation here at Belad Pier in Mumbai, after the reports of NCP leader Nawab Malik's arrest, is getting critical. The huge crowds which has gathered here, and they are trying to push their way towards the Enforcement Directorate office, which is towards the left-hand side. We have seen the CISF and other agencies also build up the security outside the ED office, but it seems that there is here people and NCP workers who have gathered in huge numbers. They are saying that as Nawab Malik has been arrested as political vendetta, they are trying here to put as much as pressure. The Mumbai police is not allowing them to move ahead of this, and you can see the barricade which has been made by the Mumbai police here. They are not allowing the NCP workers to go ahead so that the law and order situation doesn't go out of hand. But at the same point of time, it seems that more and more NCP workers are gathering in Mumbai's Belad Pier area, and they are trying to push towards the Enforcement Directorate office. We'll have to wait and see how this situation progresses. Back to you.
We'll talk about that in a bit from now. Just to get us up to speed with what next for Nawab Malik. He's just been arrested. What's the procedure from here on?
Well, this early morning, as the AD officials reached his house, and now he has been taken for a medical examination. After that, he will be produced in the court, and where inside at the court arguments will take place, and after which the ED will be asking for the custody. They will also, inside the court, lay out the exact allegations and charges which are against Nawab Malik, under which he has been arrested, and they will demand ED custody for Nawab Malik. We'll have to wait and see whether special PMLA court gives ED custody. If they give ED custody to Nawab Malik, for how many days the custody is given, and further they will keep Nawab Malik in their custody at Belad Pier and continue to investigate this case, which is said to be of a plot which he purchased. One of his family members, his son, purchased this property, and it's linked to a 93 blast accused. That's the allegation which was made, under which case he has been arrested. But the exact detail of this entire case and how Nawab Malik became an accused in this case is yet to come out. The inquiry and investigation in this case, which was done just one in the day, earlier morning, he was picked up for questioning. Now he has been showed arrested. So things have moved fast. In the court, it will be clear what are the exact allegations against Nawab Malik, and then how this takes a political turn in Maharashtra. With NCP has already shown its support to Nawab Malik. What the Sena, what the Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray's stand politically is in this case is we have to wait.
Yes, of course. Mustafa, be with us. Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Shiv Sena is with us. How do you respond to all of these developments? Priyanka Chaturvedi, Nawab Malik has just been arrested by the ED.
ED is nothing but an extended department of Bharatiya Janata Party, political party that is in the center and is using ED officials to run its political agenda against its opponents. The way a sitting minister in a federal structure of a government, state government, has been arrested without intimidating the speaker, without seeking permission from the speaker, doing this is absolutely unconstitutional and undemocratic. And I think it leads to larger questions as to how much ED officials will crawl at the behest of their political masters.
You would agree should take its own course and investigation should be carried out?
Absolutely. Investigation is welcome. Everything is welcome. Nobody has questioned the investigation. But this motivated investigation that we have been seeing in Maharashtra and aiming at, senior leaders as well as ministers is in itself the political conspiracy that is being decided at the behest of the center.
What is the reason behind this sort of a political vendetta? Because the NCP chief has come out and said that Nawab Malik is being targeted and will continue to be targeted because he speaks out against the centre, and this is political vendetta. Do you agree?
Absolutely. There is no question about that. Sanjay Raut ji has been brought into the ED investigation. Now we have a Nawab Malik ji being arrested by Enforcement Directorate. It just speaks of the larger conspiracy at play here. It speaks of political vendetta, and also, unfortunately, shows that nothing like independent institutions do not exist in India anymore. All we have are officials who are working at the behest of a political party which is in power. And that is the unfortunate reality of India right now.
Nawab Malik has been extremely vocal when it comes to the centre's policy, has taken on directly the BJP directly. Do you think that this is an outcome of that, a fallout of that?
There has been a 60 lakh crore of coal scam that has been unearthed in Gujarat. We do not see a word coming from ED or investigation happening in ED. We saw how much drugs were seized in Gujarat port. We did not see anything happening to the NCB investigation. What they are totally doing is focusing on a state which has taken on the center repeatedly.
Okay.
And this entire arrest and these investigations that are continuing are part of that entire vendetta that Bharatiya Janata Party has unleashed on people of Maharashtra.
Priyanka Chaturvedi, I'd request you to be with us just for a couple of seconds more. We have a reaction coming in from Nawab Malik. I'll just come back to you after we play that out for our viewers. That's what Nawab Malik has said. Priyanka Chaturvedi, last question to you. The allegations at the end of the day, charges are very, very serious in nature. Links with Dawood Ibrahim, alleged links with the Mumbai underworld as well. Nawab Malik is in a soup.
I would just say one thing here. This is something that has been spoken of for years with zero evidence to prove these statements. Even Sharad Pawarji himself has said this, that over the years the same story is being repeated with zero evidence. So smacks of vendetta, smacks of Bharatiya Janata Party being shaken because it realizes that their political, narrative is now exposed. Uttar Pradesh will show the way to the country once they lose here. And that is why they're using all their might in Maharashtra, because we have taken them on fearlessly. We will continue to take them on fearlessly.
All right, Priyanka Chaturvedi, thank you for your time and thank you for your perspective here. Priyanka Chaturvedi, Sena MP, essentially responding to what has happened today vis-a-vis Nawab Malik's arrest by the ED. It's a big story. We are breaking it this Nawab Malik, in fact, just a few seconds ago, and we played that out for our viewers. said ladenge or jeetenge. He's waving at the supporters. Mustafa continues to be with us. Mustafa, in fact, right outside the ED office when Nawab Malik was taken this morning for questioning, we saw the NCP workers gather there in support of Nawab Malik, and this is going to play out in a big way in Maharashtra politics, given that Nawab Malik is no political lightweight. He is a political heavyweight associated with the NCP for years together with Sharad Pawar, a minister, national spokesperson. This is going to not really go down well with the NCP.
Yes, of course. That's what it seems like, because you heard what Nawab Malik said, and behind us you can see that this is just outside the ED office. On the left-hand side, it's the Narcotics Control Bureau office, and this is important because it was Nawab Malik who had raised his voice against Sameer Wankhede, who was NCP chief, and Sameer Wankade's tenure was not extended. Behind is the Nationalist Congress Party's
Mustafa,
office.
just hold on to your thoughts. I'll just come back to you for a ground report. Mustafa is getting us all of those details. Shaina NC of the BJP is with us. Shaina NC, your response to what has happened today. The NCP and the Sena has said this is nothing but political vendetta. These allegations have been flying thick and fast for years together, but nothing really has come out of it.
I think we need to understand that this is about an illegality of 3 acres being bought, and obviously the political ramifications can be viewed as a journalist, but the legal aspects have to be looked into by the Enforcement Directorate. This is not a witch hunt, and this is only unrevealing the truth. If there are bomb blast convicts who have been part of this entire misuse of power of a minister that do, then I think it is time for us to all speak in unanimity and speak up for the truth.
All right, but this is not the first time that the opposition has made these allegations that agencies like the ED are misused by the centre essentially to settle political scores.
This is not about settling a political score. This is about the truth which needs to unfold. And since the matter is sub judice, I think let's leave it for the honourable courts to decide based on the evidence that the Enforcement Directorate produces. We have nothing to do with this particular case or any witch hunt, and it is time for all of us to understand that in the days to come, it is truth that prevails and no insulation of any sort.
Also, I want to ask you about the allegations, because the links are with the underworld is what the charge really is, and this is not a small allegation. Yes.
The matter is sub judice. Let's wait for the truth to unfold and then not sit on judgment, because as I said, this is not a political witch hunt. Thank you.
All right, Shaina NC, thank you for your time. So you heard there from Shaina NC, the BJP, the Shiv Sena, also Priyanka Chaturvedi, clearly saying that this is political vendetta. NCP has already said in the past that he's being questioned and that, all right, and that this is nothing but political witch hunt is what the NCP said. Munish Pandey getting us more details also. He tracks the agencies for us. He tracks the ED as well. For our viewers, do tell them what really are the charges against Nawab Malik, the kind of links, money laundering, and also the other allegations that have been leveled with direct link with fugitive Dawood Ibrahim, for example, Manish.
Yeah, well, Sneha, as far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, Nawab Malik has been arrested under Prevention of Money Laundering Act. And why this arrest? This arrest is in the underworld case. Now, ED has lodged a separate case in connection to the underworld links and their Benami investments in Mumbai and Maharashtra. And what ED sources have told India Today, that while they were investigating the case, they came across certain Benami transactions of Nawab Malik. Also, they are claiming, and this is a serious allegation by the Enforcement Directorate, which will be reflected in the remand copy when he will be produced before the court, that certain properties, certain real estate projects in Mumbai were identified by the Enforcement Directorate, where allegedly Mr. Nawab Malik had invested Benami. That means it was not on his name. And that is why after getting those details, this morning a team of ED officials reached the residence of Mr. Nawab Malik, and later on he was taken to the ED office, and now he has been placed under arrest. In a while from now, he will be produced before a court in Mumbai, where ED will be asking for his custodial interrogation for his custody in this case. But this case will have a huge political implication, because from last 2 weeks, right from Shiv Sena to NCP to Congress, they have been alleging political vendetta by the center and misuse of CBI and ED by the Bharatiya Janata Party. And after this arrest, again we will see that the verbal fight between the state government and center will escalate.
Undoubtedly, Munish, undoubtedly, and we've seen that happen already. But also take us through the details of the manner in which Malik has been questioned in the past as well, because these are new allegations. And how far has ED been able to build a case against him, if not a watertight case just yet, because a lot of the questioning is not done, and the ED is obviously wanting his custody to question him even further. But when all did the ED question him in the past, and also the link of other people perhaps involved with Malik?
Yeah, well, Sneha, I spoke to a senior official of Enforcement Directorate who is looking after this case, and the details which I have got from that officer is that 2 years back, the Enforcement Directorate started investigating Iqbal Mirchi, an underworld don. And what ED got to know that there were certain politicians at that point of time. A senior leader of NCP was also questioned by the Enforcement Directorate, Mr. Praful Patel. And what ED alleged that the underworld money was being misused by certain politicians. There were certain properties, prime properties in Mumbai, which were, built using the money of underworld. Now, ED attached those properties, but after that, ED got certain documents, certain money trail in which the properties in prime location of Mumbai, they were on the Benami name of certain politicians. They registered a separate case around 3 weeks back. And in last 3 weeks, there have been more than 10 places where Enforcement Directorate conducted searches. They recorded statement of certain people. During recording those statements, ED got to know about Nawab Malik. There were certain tweets on social media also naming Nawab Malik, but ED said that they wanted to build a watertight case against Maharashtra Minister, Mr. Nawab Malik, and that is why after recording those statements, they also went through the money trail and they got to know that there are certain Benami properties of Nawab Malik which were bought allegedly using the underworld money. Now, how exactly Mr. Nawab Malik is connected to any of underworld don, that is not being disclosed by ED, but certainly they are going to mention before the court today that they have got financial trail as far as Nawab Malik is concerned, certain investment in real estate projects, and that is why they will seek custodial interrogation of Nawab Malik.
Be with us. Sena's Manisha Kainde is also now joining us. Your response to this arrest today, at the end of the day, very, very serious allegations and charges that have been leveled against Nawab Malik, a sitting minister in the Maharashtra cabinet.
See, I would like to say that this is vendetta politics. This is a complete thorough misuse of the central agencies. And the central agencies have become puppets at the hands of the BJP government, whether it is the CBI, whether it is the ED or the income tax. So this is just pressure tactics. The BJP could not form a government. They failed miserably to form a government in Maharashtra. And this is how the BJP is behaving, which the entire nation is watching. That if you don't succumb to the pressure tactics of BJP, this is what will happen to you. This is the only message that I can read.
Right, but at the end of the day, Manisha Kainde, you would agree that these are very, very serious allegations. These are very serious charges. I mean, links to the underworld. Undoubtedly, law must also take its own course, isn't it?
Yes, of course. We totally respect the law in the country. But the way the procedures are not followed, we are talking about the procedures. See, whether he is innocent or guilty will be proved after the complete investigation is over.
Manisha Kainde, just requesting you to be with us. We have a reaction, in fact, that is coming in from former Maharashtra Chief Minister. Ashok Chavan, listen in.
राजकारणाच्या पलीकडे त्याच्याही खाली गेलेलं आहे सगळं हे असं आम्हाला वाटतंय. आणि म्हणून नेतृत्व करणारे राज्यातले असो किंवा देशातले नेते असो, त्यांनी हे सर्व प्रकरण थांबवून लोकशाही मार्गाने आपले विचार मांडले पाहिजेत असं आमचं मत आहे. मला एवढं समजतंय की आता जे काही चाललंय जनतेसमोर सर्वच विषय आहे, सर्वश्रुत आहे, म्हणून सर्वांनी जबाबदारीने वागायची गरज आहे. माझं व्यक्तिगत मत सांगितलेलं आहे की राजकारण हे दर्जाहीन आणि अतिशय खालच्या पातळीवर चाललेलं आहे. गल्ली बोळातल्या भांडणाच्या पलीकडे सर्व हे सुरू आहे आणि वाईट आहे असं माझं मत आहे. कोणाला काय निष्कर्ष काढायचे ते काढू दे. मी एक सर्वंकष याच्यामध्ये जे काही देश आणि राज्य पातळीवर सुरू आहे त्याचा परिपाक मी या ठिकाणी व्यक्त केलेला आहे आणि तातडीने जर संपलं नाही तो सर्वनाश होण्याची शक्यता है. मेरी व्यक्तिगत जो राय है वो ये है कि राजनीति इतने नीचे स्तर पर जा सकती है, ये बड़ी ही निराशजनक और गलत बात है. मैं तो कहूँगा ये नगर पालिका महानगर पालिका के स्तर पर जो होता है उससे भी बदतर होकर उससे भी नीचे स्तर पर राजनीति का स्तर गिर गया है. पूरे देश में या महाराष्ट्र में जो भी आज चीजें दिखाई दे रही है वो उचित नहीं है. डेमोक्रेसी में विरोध करना, विरोध होना, अपने अपने विचार अलग तरीके से वहां रखना, यहाँ तक मैं समझ सकता हूँ, पर उसका वो छोड़कर कोर्ट कचहरी, वो छोड़कर पुलिस स्टेशन, वो छोड़कर केंद्रीय एजेंसीज, इसके द्वारा जो भी हो रहा है निश्चित तौर पर ठीक बात नहीं.
Once again, the Congress there talking about how essentially this is vendetta politics and this is being targeted because here we had in fact Nawab Malik, somebody who is known to be extremely vocal against the policies of the BJP-led central government, and he's spoken about it and he's never really minced his words. This is what even Sharad Pawar has said. So we have the Shiv Sena, partner of the NCP in Maharashtra and the India Ghadi government there, clearly saying that Nawab Malik is being targeted. The NCP has said the same, and so has partner Congress in the state of Maharashtra. But the allegations are extremely serious in nature. The allegations, in fact, extremely serious in nature. We'll try and reconnect once again with Shiv Sena's Manisha Gayande. Munish Pandey also continues, in fact, to be with us. We'll go back to Munish. But remember, for our viewers who've just joined us, and Munish is there with us for the allegations, extremely serious in nature. Munish, talk us through what are the charges that Nawab Malik has been facing for days together. And also, I wanted to ask you, you did mention that not just Nawab Malik, there were others also under the scanner of the agencies. Were these netas across the political spectrum, or were they from the NCP?
Yeah, you know, as far as the underworld cases are concerned, the Enforcement Directorate is probing 2 of the cases as of now. And in the first case, it was related to Iqbal Mirchi, Mr. Praful Patel, another NCP leader and former minister. He was questioned by the ED almost 2 years back. And then in the recent case, Nawab Malik has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, both these, ministers have been under scanner of the ED as far as the underworld link is concerned. But as far as Nawab Malik recent arrest is concerned, it is important to mention that his name, his name came under scanner of ED in the second case, which was connected to the money of underworld people, of people connected to underworld being misused as an investment in certain prime properties in Mumbai. And as far as the charges against Nawab Malik is concerned, what ED is going to mention, there are 3 important points. First, Mr. Nawab Malik was connected to underworld dons and people connected to underworld in Mumbai. The first charge is the connection. Second is the money trail. As far as money trail is concerned, what ED is going to claim in their remand copy before the court today, that they have got certain financial transaction, details of certain financial transaction, and these financial details are in form of certain investment in Mumbai, real estate projects in Mumbai, and these were Benami investments of Mr. Nawab Malik. That is what ED is alleging at this point of time. So this becomes very serious. When it comes to the seriousness of the case, it becomes a very serious case as far as the charges against Nawab Malik is concerned. He has been arrested under Prevention of Money Laundering Act, but when today he will be produced before the court, ED will be seeking his custody for custodial interrogation so that in the coming days they may disclose many more names from the Maharashtra government.
Munish, do tell us what the rule book says, because we heard from Priyanka Chaturvedi a while ago who said that the ED in fact can't arrest a sitting MLA, a minister also, a sitting minister, without the permission of the speaker or without involving the state government. Is that correct? Is that applicable to MLAs as well, or only to members of parliament?
Yeah, well, Sneha, this is a very important point. But, recently the Prevention of Corruption Act, all these people, they are arrested under Prevention of Corruption Act, those who are holding government position in, in state or center. Now, as far as Mr. Nawab Malik is concerned, ED has a power to arrest any minister, any MLA or MP when they came across any certain evidence. The Prevention of Corruption Act was changed by the current government, and under the current rules of Prevention of Corruption Act, any person, whether that person is MLA or MP, that person can be arrested by CBI or ED or Income Tax Department without seeking permission from Speaker or any higher authority, or even from the permission of court. In case of Nawab Malik, he has been arrested under Prevention of Corruption Act and Money Laundering Act, and ED claims that there was no need to seek any permission. And in the very same manner, even Anil Deshmukh was arrested by the Enforcement Directorate, but there was no question why there was no permission from Speaker or Governor or by any other authority.
Okay, that's an important clarification coming in from Munish Pandey, who tells us that the ED is well within its right to arrest anybody it wants to, be it a minister or an MLA, and that no special permission is required if the case is registered under the Prevention of Corruption Act. That's an important clarification because like I said, there are many who in fact have been claiming that why was the Speaker and the state government not taken into confidence, and where was the permission? Really, no permission required is what Munish is telling us under the new rules. Important developments. Nawab Malik has been arrested by the ED. Munish continues to be with us. The next course of action, he's going to be produced in court. What else can we expect, Munish, as far as the legal strategy really of Nawab Malik is concerned?
Yeah, well, Sneha, sources within the Enforcement Directorate have told India Today that they have made a very solid, what they are claiming, it's a very solid, watertight case against Mr. Nawab Malik. And in the remand copy, they are going to mention the charges which are leveled against Nawab Malik at this point of time. So that because they are aware that Mr. Nawab Malik will be represented by a lawyer who will be defending on the allegations that this is a witch hunt by the government. But ED says that there is a legal procedure. They will be seeking remand of Mr. Nawab Malik on the charges, that is the money trail which they have, that is in a form of evidence, the statements which they have, and to further, find out the deep conspiracy and the link between politicians and underworld. They will be seeking his permission. So there is a legal strategy in place. We have been told that the senior officials in Enforcement Directorate, right in the headquarters of Delhi, and also within the government, they have been informed by the ED officials in Mumbai. So most probably a senior legal person from the ED will be representing the Financial Probe Agency, and they will be seeking maximum custody for Mr. Nawab Malik.
The money trail has been established, Munish, is what your sources within the ED are indicating. Do get us some information. What can you share with us at this point in time?
Yeah, well, these are the exclusive details, Sneha, which I accessed after speaking to a senior officer in the Enforcement Directorate. That officer is part of the investigation because, whenever there is an arrest of a politician, the agencies want to make sure that they have enough evidence, because end of the day, they won't only embarrass their own agency, but also, a part of government also. And that is why what ED sources have told India Today, that they have certain evidence against Nawab Malik based on which he has been arrested by the Enforcement Directorate. Now, these evidences are in form of, first, the financial trail of Nawab Malik. Now, what ED is claiming, that there are certain Benami transactions on behalf of Mr. Nawab Malik. These transactions are with the people who are connected to underworld, essentially the D company, Dawood Ibrahim. Also, there are certain investments in certain real estate projects in Mumbai and Maharashtra, where Nawab Malik has invested Benami, again through certain people connected to underworld dons. So these are the evidence which the ED has gathered. Apart from that, they have statements from certain individuals who will be acting as a witness in the case, and those witnesses in their deposition before the Enforcement Directorate have also taken name of Nawab Malik. So there is statement, there is financial official trail, and there is a money transaction which the ED has as of this point of now, and based on which they have not only arrested Nawab Malik, but they will be seeking his custody for the coming days so that they can interrogate Mr. Nawab Malik, who has been arrested for having links with underworld. Sena.
All right, be with us, Manish. We'll just come back to you for more on that big story. We have series of reactions that have been coming in. Let's go straight to them.
सुव्यवस्थेचा विश्वास
राजनीति इतने नीचे स्तर पर जा सकती है, ये बड़ी ही निराशजनक और गलत बात है। मैं तो कहूंगा ये नगर पालिका, महानगर पालिका के स्तर पर जो होता है उससे भी बदतर होकर, उससे भी नीचे स्तर पर राजनीति का स्तर गिर गया है। पूरे देश में या महाराष्ट्र में जो भी आज चीजें दिखाई दे रही,
त्यांना हजर करावं लागेल। तुमच्या एका मिनिस्टरचा अलिबागचा 100 कोटीचा रिसॉर्ट तोडण्याची केंद्रीय पर्यावरण खात्याची ऑर्डर निघाली। तुमच्या एका नेत्याचा बंगला तोडणार होते तर त्यांनी स्वतःच तोडून टाकला। तुमच्या औरंगाबाद जिल्ह्यातले आणखीन एका मिनिस्टरच्या मुलावर जमीन अपहरण या विषयामध्ये जमिनीच्या बाबतीत फसवणूक केल्याप्रकारे गुन्हा दाखल झाला। तुमच्या एका मंत्र्याच्या 2 बायका आहेत जे हिंदू कोडमध्ये बसत नाही, निवडणूक कायद्यामध्ये बसत नाही, पण त्याच्या 2 बायका, कारण त्यांनी ओपनली मान्य केलं आणि हे मान्य केलं की तिला माझ्यापासून 2 मुलं झालेली आहेत। आता हे यादी म्हणजे मला दम लागला यादी वाचताना। तर एवढ्या सगळ्यानंतरही तुम्हाला असं वाटत नाही की बा हे सगळं आता कोलमडत चाललेलं आहे। पण बाकी काय चालायचं ते चालू दे, परंतु ज्या ज्या मंत्र्यांवर अशा प्रकारचे आरोप होऊन नुसते आरोप न राहता अटक होईल त्या प्रत्येकाला राजीनामा द्यावा लागेल। ह्या राज्याची ती परंपरा आहे। शिवाजीराव पाटील निलंगेकर असतील, बाबासाहेब भोसले असतील, अशांनी कोर्टाने साधे स्ट्रिक्चर पास केले। 4 कोर्टाने स्ट्रिक्चर 27 महिन्यामध्ये 27 वेळा पास केले। मी आजच एक 22 पानी नोट तयार केलेली आहे की ह्या सरकारने घटना कुठे कुठे तोडली, घटना कुठे कुठे पायदळी तोडवली, याची एक 22 पानी माझी नोट तयार झालेली आहे। ती नोट पुन्हा एकदा ती राष्ट्रपती राजवटीसाठी नाही आहे, पण एका आमच्या नेत्याला एका शिबिरामध्ये तो विषय मांडण्यात होता, म्हणून मग लिहायला गेलो 22 पानं झाली। आणि त्यामुळे अशा प्रकारची परंपरा महाराष्ट्राची आहे की कोर्टाने स्ट्रिक्चर पास केले। आता परवा तर ऑन पेपर आलं की 12 आमदारांच्या निलंबनामध्ये सरकार घटनाबाह्य वागलं, घटनाबाह्य। आता त्याच्यापेक्षा आणि काय पाहिजे?
Side of your screens are NCP workers protesting. In fact, outside the office of the ED, they've been there ever since Nawab Malik reached the ED office in the morning today, after which he was arrested just a while ago by the Enforcement Directorate, looking into the allegations against him of his links with the underworld and with fugitive gangster Dawood Ibrahim. A money laundering case, buying Benami properties, all are allegations against sitting minister Nawab Malik.
ED is nothing but an extended department of Bharatiya Janata Party political party that is in the center and is using ED officials to run its political agenda against its opponents. The way a sitting minister in a federal structure of a government, state government, has been arrested without intimidating the speaker, without seeking permission from the speaker, doing this is absolutely unconstitutional and undemocratic. And I think it leads to larger questions as to how much ED officials will crawl at the behest of their political masters.
I think we need to understand that this is about an illegality of 3 acres being bought, and obviously the political ramifications can be viewed as a journalist, but the legal aspects have to be looked into by the Enforcement Directorate. This is not a witch hunt, and this is only unrevealing the truth. If there are bomb blast convicts who have been part of this entire misuse of power of a minister that do, then I think it is time for us to all speak in unanimity and speak up for the truth.
We can confirm for our viewers that Nawab Malik has been taken to JJ Hospital there for a medical examination. We'll play out those pictures also from JJ Hospital, where Malik has been taken for a medical examination, as is the norm, as is the procedure. Then will be produced in court, where the ED is going to be seeking his further custody, essentially, to question him in connection with the charges that he's been facing. Munish Pandey continues to be with us. The allegations, the charges, extremely serious in nature. Politically, this is going to play out, and we already have seen glimpses of it in a predictable fashion, really, Munish. But to talk about the charges, extremely grave in nature.
The charges are very serious, Neha, because there is not only a money laundering charge, but also his alleged connection with certain people connected to underworld. Now, as far as the money trail is concerned, ED claims that they have established money trail. They have also details about certain Benami investments of Nawab Malik in Mumbai and Maharashtra, and this was using the underworld money. That is what we are alleging. But as far as the political implications are concerned, remember from last many weeks and we can say months, the Maharashtra Aghadi Sena, the coalition of Shiv Sena, NCP and Congress, they have been targeting the center that CBI and ED have been misused by the center against their own leaders and minister. Anil Deshmukh, another NCP leader, was arrested on corruption charges by the Enforcement Directorate, and now arrest of Nawab Malik. But what is also going to be important, that how the state government is going to deal with this arrest of Mr. Nawab Malik. Because remember, when Anil Deshmukh was arrested, then he had to step down from his position of Maharashtra Home Minister. Nawab Malik is also holding some positions in Maharashtra government. Whether he will step down or not, that is still to be seen. Whether there will be any action by the NCP or Shiv Sena government, that is still to be seen. So there will be a far-reaching political implications as far as Nawab Malik's arrest is concerned within the state government, and also between the state government and the center. Because even Sanjay Raut, few days back, he took a press conference. He alleged that ED is working on behest of the center. ED is an extension of center, and ED is being misused by the Bharatiya Janata Party. So those allegations will continue. I think the attacks will be sharper in nature from now on, and we have to see that what reactions will come on, because Congress, NCP and other leaders of the state government, they have alleged that ED has made this illegal arrest of Nawab Malik only to target the state government.
Munish, continue to be with us. We'll just come back to you for more on that story, and this is going to play out in a big way in the state of Maharashtra with the arrest of Nawab Malik. No political lightweight. He is in fact a sitting minister, national spokesperson of the NCP in government right now, seen to be extremely close to Sharad Pawar. Sharad Pawar himself has spoken about the fact that Malik has been targeted time and again because he's extremely vocal against the BJP-led central government and its policies, and that's the reason why he is being targeted. What is going to be the strategy then of the NCP? We've already heard from the Shiv Sena and the Congress throwing their support, in fact, to Nawab Malik. Of course, the NCP, the Shiv Sena and the Congress, of course, continue to be in alliance in the Aghadi government in the state of Maharashtra. Ladenge aur jeetenge is what Nawab Malik said. Remember, he's been questioned by the ED today. The questioning started at around 8:30 a.m. this morning. The ED has been looking into the alleged role of Nawab Malik and his links with the Mumbai underworld, also with fugitive gangster Dawood Ibrahim. Sources are telling India Today that the ED in fact has established the money trail that eventually prompted them to arrest Nawab Malik, and this is what the ED is going to talk about when Nawab Malik is going to be produced in court, as is the procedure. Remember, this is in connection with the money laundering case linked to the Mumbai underworld. The allegations extremely serious in nature, and Malik in fact has been arrested under the Prevention of Corruption Act, and money laundering charges have also been slapped against him. Big story at this hour, the arrest of Nawab Malik. We'll keep a very, very close eye on all of those developments. For the moment, it's time for a quick commercial break here.